Living off the grid in the high desert has taught me that every day is different. One day it's calm and peaceful, and the next the winds are howling across the raw land. The weather changes constantly out here, and sometimes even the simplest projects become a challenge. But little by little, through the dust, the wind, and hard work, this land is slowly starting to feel like home. So the nearest town for supplies is an hour away. And, well, with only having my Jeep, I'm limited on what I can haul. Something as simple as plywood wouldn't even fit. And, well, with gas prices constantly going up, making multiple trips back and forth into town adds up fast. So instead of wasting time, gas, and money, I finally placed one big order at Home Depot and had everything delivered straight to the land. Because, well, out here, you definitely learn pretty quickly that working smarter is just as important as working hard.
Pretty much live on TV. I was bar watching it.
Yeah. North Hollywood Bank robbery. Well, ours was like that, but it was bigger.
As I'm working on getting insulation put into the shed today, I keep thinking back to when I first arrived out here on this raw land. I just remember standing here looking out at all this wide open space, feeling excited, but also really nervous. I knew I was about to start building everything from scratch, and honestly, I had never done anything like this before. I've never built structures, worked on projects like this, or really known much about construction at all. But thankfully, the two friends that got this 40 acres with me are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff. And they've been teaching me so much along the way. Normally, before each project, I'll have them explain it to me, show me how to do it, and walk me through the steps. Then, after that, I try to tackle it on my own. Because at the end of all this, I want to be able to sit back one day, look around at all this, and know that I built it with my own two hands. I want that feeling of accomplishment. I want that feeling of joy, knowing that this dream came from my own vision, my own hard work, and all the time and energy I poured into it. And honestly, I already feel that joy starting to happen. Even though I still have so much work ahead of me, every little project I complete gives me more confidence. Every time I learn something new out here, it reminds me that I really am capable of doing this. It's kind of crazy to think about sometimes, because a few years ago I was traveling around, living in my Jeep, then my schoolie, just trying to reconnect with nature and figure life out. And now I'm actually standing on my own land, building my dream property from the ground up. And even something as simple as putting insulation in this shed brings me joy, because it means progress. It means this little structure is slowly becoming more livable and more functional. So, for the insulation, I'm using R19 insulation for the ceiling and R15 for the walls. Before this project, I honestly didn't even know there were different types of insulation for different things. But of course, my friends have been explaining all of it to me and teaching me why certain materials work better in different areas. The R19's insulation for the ceiling is thicker, which is what you want overhead because heat rises and you want more protection up there. But one thing I learned is you also have to make sure the insulation isn't too thick for the space you're putting it in. You don't want to overstuff it because that can affect how well it works. And the insulation expands a little bit once you get it in place. So there's definitely more to it than I realized. And let me tell you, this fiberglass insulation is no joke. You definitely want to wear a face mask while working with it, because breathing that stuff in is not good for you at all. Gloves are a must too, along with long sleeves, because the fiberglass gets super itchy. And as you can probably see, I even tucked all my dreadlocks up inside my hoodie, trying to keep the fiberglass out of my hair also. So it may not seem like a huge project to some people, but for me, every single thing I'm learning out here feels really huge. Every board, every screw, every little step is teaching me something new. And little by little, this raw piece of land is slowly turning into the dream I've had in my head for a while. Oh my God, that was huge.
Holy shit!
Okay, so I forgot to film this part right here, but sometimes when I start working, doing things, I kind of just get in my zone and I forget to grab the camera. But also it's just been very windy. So with the wind, it kind of makes it a little difficult to set my camera up on my tripod while I'm doing some work, because the wind is so strong and such high winds that it knocks my tripod over. So some things I'm just gonna have to film afterwards. But anyways, I know there was some concerns from some people saying, oh, you can't live in that shed. The shed's not completely sealed up. There's cracks in it. There's whatever. I know there was. But I mean, I just got the shed here. So, and now that the shed is here, I'm starting to work on it. I've got the ceiling already insulated. And the moisture barrier plastic over the insulation on the ceiling. I have to go get some insulation for the walls now, but I knew that this shed was not completely sealed tightly. So I did get some insulation foam, and as you guys can see at the bottom, I've come on the outside of the shed and I've taken the insulation foam and sprayed it up underneath, and I have to say it was pretty tight and secure right here. And then we'll go inside real quick just for a second because the wind. It's a little dark, but I only have one window in this shed, by the way. So there's only one window. So I've also taken the insulation foam and done it all around the whole entire window. I also went through every section of this shed, every single section of this shed, and tried to feel for any air coming through because, well, the wind is helping for that part right there. And to be quite honest with you, it's pretty sealed up. I mean, this is a well-made shed. The company, Graceland Sheds, is known to be a very reputable company that build really good sheds. So, and that's why I went with them. So the only part I'm gonna have to take care of, which I've already talked to somebody that does this kind of work, and I'm gonna do it myself actually, but at the bottom of the door, that needs to be taken care of. So I'm gonna take care of that too. I'm gonna put like some kind of weather strip or something down there. I have everything written down that the guy told me that I should do that will take care of that right there. So this is gonna be sealed up. There's not gonna be any wind or anything that's gonna be coming through here. And for the person that left the comment saying that the shed is not completely sealed up and that I'm going to freeze my dog, poor doggy, she's going to freeze to death in the winter. My number one concern is my dog. That is my child. I put my dog before myself sometimes. She's almost 14 years old. She'll be 14 in a couple of months. And I think I've done a pretty good job of raising my child and taking good care of her. I will never let anything ever happen to my dog, ever. So I've had her since she was 3 months also, by the ways. And she's in great health and condition, minus her heart issues and her heart problems that she has, which is not my cause. It just happens because she's an older dog and a Chihuahua. So my dog is not going to freeze. I'm not going to freeze. And if I felt like it was getting too cold inside of this shed and the heater wasn't working very well in this 8x12 shed, which is very tiny, so the heat is going to hold in here very well, I'm smart enough to take my dog out of the shed and take myself out of the shed and either A, go sleep in my bus where I have a heater in there, or go get a room or something until I could figure this out. I just got the shed here, literally, and I'm trying to put it all together now. It doesn't happen overnight. There's the ceiling. Actually, let me just turn the camera around and show you guys. So I've already done the ceiling with the insulation, and we're going to save that for another video. I'll tell you guys how I insulated it, what I insulated it with, and, you know, everything. But as you guys see, I still need to do the walls and the door, and still put the walls up and everything. So it's a work in progress, and it takes time. I wish I could do everything overnight. And as you guys can see, on the outside, all down there. And real quick, no, the insulation foam is not going to be hanging out like that.
I have to wait for it to dry. So I'm gonna let it completely dry overnight. And then I'm gonna come out here with a razor or a box cutter or whatever, and I will cut all, all the foam off, and you won't be able to see any of the foam, including on the inside of the shed. But I'm gonna let this dry overnight so it'll be completely dry. And then in the morning, I'll come out here and cut all that excessive stuff hanging right there. So, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I am a one-person trying to get this done. My friends have helped me a little bit, but I do appreciate everybody giving me their suggestions and opinions, because this is all new to me. But the only thing I don't like is when people are rude about it. I really don't like when people are rude about it. And I definitely don't like it when they're rude about it and they say things like that about my dog. Because my dog is my everything to me, and that is my child. And I will bend over backwards and take care of my child by all means. So, please send me your suggestions. Please send me any helpful hints. But let's not be rude about it or nasty. I always say, practice kindness. Maybe if people would practice kindness a little bit more, you might have a little bit of more happiness within yourself. Well, I'm standing in the shed right now, and I'm still trying to get it built out to make this livable for me to live in, for my temporarily tiny home. Unfortunately, though, I had a couple of mishaps. Well, a big mishap, actually. I was sick for the last 2 days. I'm just now getting over it right now. You guys can probably hear it in my voice. But I was really, really sick. I had a really bad sore throat. My ears were hurting, and my nose was stopped up, and I was running a fever. And I know, yes, I've been so busy every single day that I probably have not been given my body a proper rest. So I do have some friends that are visiting me right now, and well, I didn't want to get them sick when I was sick over the last 2 days, so I kind of just hunkered down in the bus and tried to sweat this out and took some medicine and just try to get it out of my system. Before I got sick with this crud, I was able to get a little bit of the insulation done myself. So I did do some of the insulation in here. And then as you guys can see, I think I already showed that. The ceiling is insulated too. But my friends were really nice while I was sick and finished insulating the inside of the shed for me. And put the moisture barrier, that's the plastic that you see, on top of the insulation and everything. And yeah, so it's insulated now. Yay. And now we're going to start on the walls. So we're going to start putting the plywood up, and we're going to do the walls. Now, up here at the very top, you guys will see, I don't have that insulated. And I kind of wanted to not have that insulated and kind of wanted to keep that open because, well, if this is going to be my temporary home, I want it to be as comfy as possible for me, meaning I want it to look cute and I want it to look like a home for me. I don't want to have to dread coming and staying in this little tiny shed. So I do want to put decorations up and just make it a home. So I will be putting like some plants and stuff up there. I'm not putting a wall up in those grooves right there, but I will get some foam insulation. And if I feel like the air's coming through that or something, or it's not staying as warm in here or something because that's not insulated, I'll just stuff the foam up in there and I'll fix it. But I think I'm going to be fine because this is an 8x12 shed. It's going to be able to hold the heat in really good. And it's also going to be able to hold the air in really good. It'll be a trial run. So, and then I've got kitchen counters right here. A butcher block countertop thing that will go on top of the counters. Getting it done. I got it.
Okay, so I know there is a lot of you guys that are a little confused of why I've decided to turn this shed into a temporarily tiny home. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Sarah, you have a bus that's already turned into your home. Why not just live in the bus? Why did you even get the shed in the first place?" So, I am here at the land now, which is going to be my home and my comfort, and I am tired of living in vehicles for the last almost 5 years, pretty much. I'm just tired of living in vehicles. I'm ready to have my comfort of a home. So that's why I'm turning the shed into my temporary tiny home. And I say temporarily because I'm eventually going to have an actual home of some sort. And of course, here comes the wind. Good old wind. So that's why I've turning this shed into my temporarily tiny home. And well, I'm enjoying having this project that I'm doing right now. Like it's fun, and I've never done anything like this before. So this is exciting. And well, this is my life, and I'm going to live it the way that I want to live it, whether you agree with it or not, because it's my comfort. So I hope that answers some questions of why I've decided to live in this temporarily. Also, a lot of the videos you're going to hear the beeping noise that you're hearing right now. And the wind, apparently. Hold on. Wind. This is my life. The wind is an everyday thing here, and I just can't get past it until spring is over with. But the beeping noise that you're hearing are solar rodent repellents that I have all over this property right here. And that is the beeping noise that you hear. It's going to be a constant beeping sound all the time. But it's all around my area right here, and obviously it's helping keep the critters out of my bus and out of my area, because I haven't had any more issues with mice since that first incident. So that's what the beeping noise is. All right, time to get to work. In the wind. Today I'm working on getting plywood up on the walls inside the shed. And honestly, every single step of this process still feels surreal to me. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. And there's so much I'm learning along the way. For the first wall, my friends helped me get the plywood lifted and lined up because those sheets are definitely not light. We also used a stud finder to locate the studs inside the wall, so we knew exactly where the nails needed to go. I didn't realize before starting this project just how important the studs actually are. The studs are basically what give the wall its structure and strength. So if you're just hammering nails randomly into the plywood without hitting the studs, the plywood won't really be secured properly. And over time, it could loosen, shift, or not hold up the way it's supposed to. So by nailing directly into the studs, you're attaching the plywood to the actual framing of the wall, which makes everything much more solid and sturdy. My friend drilled little guide holes where the nails needed to go before I hammered them in, which made it easier for me and helped keep everything lined up properly. There are so many little things like that I never would have thought about before. Every day out here feels like I'm learning a completely new skill set. And I know this is just a little 8x12 shed that I'm turning into a temporary tiny home for myself. But honestly, it feels like I'm building an actual house. Every project feels important to me because this is all teaching me skills for the future. I'm taking everything I learned while building this shed and storing it away in my brain for the day I finally decide what I want my actual home to be out here on this land. And honestly, it's kind of crazy to think about. One day in the future, I could actually be building my real home completely from scratch with my own 2 hands. That thought feels both exciting and terrifying at the same time. But I think that's part of why I'm pushing myself so hard to learn all of this now. And I know it probably seems like I've been working non-stop since I got here, and honestly, I really have been. I've been busy every single day. But the thing is, every morning I wake up excited to keep going. I wake up thinking about what project I can work on next, what I can improve, what I can build, and what progress I can make. But at the same time, I know monsoon season is right around the corner here in July. And once those rains start rolling in, it's probably going to slow a lot of this work down. So part of me feels this pressure to keep pushing and try to get this shed somewhat livable before then. And especially living up here in the high desert where the weather changes so fast. I am realizing that I need to learn how to slow down a little and give myself breaks too. I can't work every single day forever without burning myself out. I've only been on this property for a little over a month, and when I stop and look around at everything that's already been done, it blows my mind. But the reason so much has gotten done is because I've definitely been pushing myself hard every day. And what's really wild is that my birthday is actually coming up in a few weeks. And I almost completely lost track of time because I've just been so busy and distracted with everything going on here. And for the past 4 years while traveling full time, I always had this little tradition where I'd rent myself a secluded cabin somewhere for my birthday. It was always my way of relaxing, resetting mentally, and giving myself a little peace and quiet. And honestly, the thought of a secluded cabin this year sounds amazing. Some rest and relaxation definitely sounds nice right now, but realistically, I don't think that's going to happen this time around. The money I'd spend on a cabin could go towards supplies, projects, and building up this land instead. And I kind of feel like all of this work has already given me the best birthday present I could ask for anyways. Because since I've been here working with my hands, learning new things, and actually building towards my future, I can feel my mental health improving again. And that's been my goal from the very beginning of this entire journey. To work on my happiness, my peace, and my mental health. And for the first time in a long time, I really feel like I'm moving in the right direction.
Just keep some going. Okay, back up. Get your blade. Back up. Start your blade.
The wind. I got it. Just Mother Nature.
Watch the ceiling.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's why I said watch the ceiling. That's why I say we're going to need to get some tape too.
I have tape. Okay.
How cute was that, huh?
That was
Alright, as I've mentioned before already in all my videos since I've been here at the land, the wind. The wonderful wind that Mother Nature keeps blowing down on us every single day. So, we're trying to get work done and work around the wind. So carrying the plywood in or carrying the plywood around, it's like a kite. And the wind just is pushing the plywood. So I'm so over this wind and ready for it to stop. Any day now, any day.